in global discussions, positions are taken, goalposts are shifted, and this is done to preserve the lead of those who are in the lead. Today's international order is a bit like the animal farm, where all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. The global south really has to democratize global governance. It has to be much more active. Where the UN and global architecture was concerned, I would say there was almost a unanimous view, in fact a unanimous view that there was a need for reform, that this was much delayed. Some countries very specifically referred to who they felt should be permanent members of the United Nations. Then if I were to look at the other issues in terms of regional issues, Gaza, the situation in Gaza came up for mention from many of them. Some of them spoke about also on the role of the civil society. Then there was again talk about sovereignty, strategic autonomy, about interference, and concerns which were expressed in that regard. And overall, I would say at the leaders' level, appreciation that India had, in a way, they initiated something very good with the Voice of the Global South. There was a positive evaluation of its past role, and clearly a sentiment that this is, in fact, 2 or 3 of them very specifically said, we hope that you will continue with the Voice of the Global South summits. These were broadly the the common points which were made by the leaders. Similarly, I had done an exercise for the 2 sessions of the foreign ministers, because a lot of what they said about the leaders were more like at a vision level, a bigger concept level. Foreign ministers were much more into actually execution of these ideas. Again, climate concerns were very strong, I would say almost like the #1 theme of a lot of what was said. Then the second, again, which was common with the leaders, was debt distress and the slow credit growth. One point which came through sharply was in the foreign ministers meeting, was on the rules-based order, about sovereignty, equality, mutual respect, partnership of equals, ownership of agenda. And in fact, one foreign minister said that, today's international order is a bit like the animal farm, where all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. So that was the analogy given to the state of affairs in the world today. There was also, I think, concern expressed regarding shifting of goalposts, that very often in global discussions, positions are taken, goalposts are shifted, and this is done to preserve the lead of those who are in the lead. Among specific concerns which the ministers raised, I would say bridging the digital divide and technology concerns was one. Many of them spoke about corridors and connectivity, physical connectivity, energy connectivity, maritime connectivity, about supply chains. Few of them referred to cultural preservation concerns, that they were worried that their cultures, they were not just getting physically inundated by climate change, but in many cases also their cultures, they felt were vulnerable to what was happening in the world. There was reference to disaster resilient infrastructure. I think here particularly the small islands and the smaller countries were much more focused on that. And the overall messaging which came out of the foreign ministers was very much inclusive, equitable, representative, international order, and that the global south really has to democratize global governance. It has to be much more active. So that was the sum and substance of mostly what happened at the leaders and the foreign ministers level.